welcome to Foppy's Creations. I'm in the loft, as you can see, as you will know by now, those of you that have been watching fairly regularly. Today I've decided there's something I've got to do, and I think I mentioned it in another video. I'm making some angels for my 4 children, basically the 4 families, as a Christmas decoration. But what I'm making them from is what initiated the making was when my mum died and we cleared the house, we came across a wedding veil. We thought it was my mum's veil, but we think it's my grandmother's veil, and it seemed a shame to just put it in a box and leave it. So I've decided to make the dresses of my Christmas angels from the veils. I can show you one I've done here already. This is one here. They come from a Tilda doll pattern. You can see she's got a little wool for hair and some little ribbons, some pearls for a necklace, and this is the veil, or one of, and they had these little silk flowers on, as you can see there, and I've sewn them onto all of the dresses. I've done 3 so far, and they're kept with really long legs, and they're a funny looking little doll, but there's something, I don't know, something different about them, isn't there? So yeah, so they've got this pointy little feet, as ballerinas do, sort of thing, and even got little pearls on her wrist. They're all going to be much the same, but they'll all have their little own identities. Got little eyes and little rosy cheeks, you can see. As I say, that's one. I've done 2 others, and now I've started to make the last one. And I've learnt as I've gone along with each one with these patterns. I made a mistake in how I cut them out, or how I construct the pattern. What I did on the others, you can see this is the body, and it comes in, the paper pattern comes in two parts, top and bottom, as do the legs, top and bottom. And then I realised if I'd read the pattern properly, because I'm a bit like that, I do go gung-ho and just do it my own way, that you overlap those paper pieces on the pattern to get one piece, which makes things a whole lot simpler. Why did I wait till the 4th one to learn this? So there we go. So I've cut out and pinned 2 legs, 1 body, 2 arms, and this is from my own personal pattern, because obviously the rest of it I'm making up myself, and 2 squares which I've interfaced, as I usually do, spray glued those on so they get a bit of rigidity, and 2 little bodices. As I say, I've had to partially make this up as I go along, because I like to do that, because I like my things to be unique to me. I don't like to exactly copy people. So I'm going to tack these this time, I think, because these pins are going to be a bit of a nightmare, being I'm working on such small pieces. I think the tacking will make it easier to sew. So I'm now going to do that, and I'll come back to you. Okay, so what I've done now is I've tacked all around the body, all around the legs and the arms. leaving openings for them to be turned right side out, and also openings for stuffing. I've done it slightly differently to how I did the others, not that you would know that, but for me I want to try a different method. So what I'm doing is stuffing the arms and legs, the body, and then the legs actually go inside, and then I'll stitch across both legs and the bottom part of the body. Also on this one, because the others were done in two parts, the legs, they've got like a knees. So what I'm going to do is put a couple of stitches there just to give a couple of dimples on the knees and see how that looks. What I've also done is I've tacked the square for the dresses, that'll obviously all be gathered up, and tacked the bodice, little bodice part as well. And also this takes a while, but this is the veil, and I've made like a complete tube of it and then gathered the top, so you can see now that this will be on the bodice, and then I've got to sew on the little silk flowers that are on the others, but that'll be sort of one of the last things I do. Okay, so now I've got the machine set up now with my thread, and I will now sew. I'm going to put you on fast mode so that you don't have to watch me for too long doing the same thing. Okay, so everything is now stitched for the moment anyway. Now I'm going to just take my tacking stitches out. They do say you don't need to knot when you do tacking, but I always find if I don't put a knot in it that I end up, it all just comes out again, so it doesn't take long to just put a knot in. Okay, let me just pull that out. This one. Oops. Okay, I'm not going to be putting this, not that it matters to you, but I'm not going to be putting this video out until after I know that my children have received theirs, because I want it to be a bit of a surprise. So as I say, it won't matter to you because you won't know when I recorded this. So, as I learnt from last time, and it was silly, I ironed my seams shut, but obviously it caught on the interfacing, so that was a bit of a silly move, wasn't it? Let me use something else just to push that down. Okay, so that's that side. And this side, this is a letter opener. This actually was my dad's. It's another thing I kept because it was in amongst my dad's things when he died. Okay, silly thing, a little things like that, isn't it? A letter opener, but it means something to me. It was his. Okay, now. So actually, what I'm going to do now is just put a little hem on the edge of this little dress. So I need to get my clips, I think. Some clips. So that way round, and then I can see better what I'm doing. There we go. Just a little hem, just to hold that up. And then I'll machine that one straight away because it's fairly simple. There you go. Oops. Just run the machine round that hem. Take this off to make it a little bit easier. There we go. Put that under. Actually, I think I'll do it the other way round, just in case for some reason my tension's not good. But at least then I will know the top is good, even if the underside isn't. It's not like it's something that's going to be worn by me. It's a decoration after all. Okay, let's start here. Let's get my threads. I can find them. There we go. Use the edge of the foot for my guidance. And that's it. My clips in there. just see the using the clips just speeds things up a little bit, and I'm not getting pricked by pins. Right, come to the end. Back a bit. That's it. More snips. There we go. Snip both of those. Both of those. There we go. That's the little hem on that little dress. It makes it quite rigid, the interfacing, but it's nice because it makes it stick out a little bit, and the little the veil just looks pretty on top of that. Okay, so now I'm going to take all the tacking out of the rest of it. Right, as you can probably see, this quite fray, this fabric, so I think I can't really run it under my serger because it's such a narrow seam. So I'm going to go all around all the edges with my pinking shears now. There we go, that's much tidier. So there we go, body, 2 legs, 2 arms, just make sure I've not lost any along the way. Now next we're going to try and turn them inside out, and I personally hate this bit because it is so time consuming and so fiddly. So I'm going to put you on pause and I will come back to you with that a bit later. Just quickly before I start that, I think I spoke to you about some pokey tools. You can see here, you can buy these on Amazon, and they're all for sort of poking out when you turn something inside out. They're for poking out the corners and things like that, and they've got slightly different size ends to them. You've got some are very pointy. This one's got a little bend on it, you can see. And but they're all these. Sharon actually gave them to me because she had them and she hadn't used them, so I've got them and I've been eternally grateful for them since. They are so useful. So yeah, so now you know what I was talking about. Just want to quickly show you. I've just started doing this and realised I hadn't told you this one. Can you see there? It's got little hooks on either end. This helps to get the little pieces out. You just hook it inside and then just pull it out, and when you're doing something as fiddly as this, they're a godsend. I mean, look, see, it's just gradually coming out, and just pull it, poke it in and pull it out, and it gradually comes out, because it's not always easy to get started on these sort of things, and this is generally why I don't like doing this, but these tools have made things a whole lot easier. It's coming, we're nearly at the end now, so it just shows you There we go. It's funny with these, you think you're there, you get to a bit and you think, oh no, there's still a bit more. Yes, there was more there than I thought. That's because these hands are so tiny. Always looks like a reasonable size when you sew it, but once you get to turn it inside out, so there you go. This tiny little hand. So that's how you use these. Okay, I'll be back when I've done the rest of it. Okay, so they're all turned in, well, right side out now. I'm just going to press them now with the iron, just to make it all look up much better. Oh, that's come unstitched. Obviously I haven't done that very well. Should do that in a minute. Okay, let's just wait for the iron for a couple of seconds. I'm sitting here watching Long Lost Family and I just keep crying. You know what that programme's like. Press. Better. Oh, come on, off. Oh, stitches. This is the little iron I was talking about as well. In a few, when I did the tutorial on my bag, I think. But it's just the handiest little size. It's actually a travel iron, but it's perfect for this sort of thing. I know this is all going to get a little bit screwed up again in a minute when I stuff it, but it gives me an idea that we've got the right shape going. Thread there. Okay, so there we go. Let's, now we need to stuff. This is so time consuming. I'm using a chopstick at the moment to try and get this stuff in down the arm. It's taken me ages just to get that far, and this is all I've done in about, I don't know, about 20 minutes. So I'm not going to subject you to watching that. Again, I will do this off camera, then show you once I'm stuffed. Okay. Okay, I've now pinned. You can see there, I've pinned in the arms. Now it's such a fiddly little job this, but I've pinned them in, and now I'm going to sew them in, and then I'll stuff the rest of the body. There we go, the arms are now sewn in. I've done them as tidy as I can. I like to try and hide my stitches as much as I can. And now to stuff the main body. Now, it's been months since I've done the other ones, and I was worried I was going to forget what to do. How silly was that? You made 3, how can I forget what to do? She's very long arms, isn't she? But as I said, she's quite a strange looking doll, really. A little bit more. Not to be too bulgy, just padded. That's all we need. Just padded. That a tiny little waist. I could feel there then, no. Okay, so now we need to tuck the bottom of the body in and then we'll attach the legs, but of course I've got to stuff them first. I've just realised I haven't done them, so I'll be back in a bit. Okay, the legs are now stuffed, and now I'm just going to quickly stitch them up. Through the seam out there, so we don't have any loose ends on the seam. Do you know, it's only recent years that I've learnt to do this. We just bring it back through, snip close to the fabric. That's it, your end thread is hidden. I never used to do that, and I actually think it's down to watching YouTube again. I've just learnt so much extra from watching YouTube. I've got fluff everywhere now. Right, let's do this one. Try and tuck the end in again. Don't know if you can see properly what I'm doing here. Just stitching in on the crease on that side, and then over on the crease opposite where I came out, another on that side, and then just do that all the way along. Just makes such a tidy seam when you've got to finish it on the outside. Yep. Now at the other end, let's do a few tie knots there. Ouch. Another one. Same as I did before, back in through the seam and just out in the middle of the fabric. There we go. And snip. Obviously, when you do that, be careful not to go too close and end up snipping a hole in your fabric. Okay, so we have two legs. I'm just going to move you up a little bit if I can. So now I'm going to tuck in about 1/4 of an inch on one end, or one side should I say. And then you pop the leg in. I think that's the way around it is. Out that one. I don't suppose it really matters. And be just inside about 1/4 of an inch. And pin that. And then the same on the other side. Tuck it in and then stitch the back of the leg. It's so fiddly. Right, that's that. And pin that side. To hold that in place until it's stitched. You see that's one leg, not in quite right, but it will be when it's stitched. And then same on the other side. There we go, a bit wonky at the moment, that's just because say the pins are in, but that gives you the idea. Okay, so now I'm just going to go and... My face is so red, it's so warm in here. Other side of the leg. Ooh. I'm actually planning on doing a sewing session with Sharon soon. She's her and her family like to do a homemade Christmas, and this year she's asked them what they want, and they want pyjamas, so we plan on having a session where I'm helping her make some pyjamas, or pyjama bottoms mainly. They don't tend to wear the tops, so and they're not too bad to make. They're really quite a basic pattern. I made some. Sharon had the pattern, and I made some for myself. I very rarely wear pyjamas. I find I get all in a knot in bed with them. If I'm going to wear anything at all, it's going to be a nightie. So when I've made them and never wore them, so I then cut them up into shorts just for wearing around the garden. But I do like to try and sew with Sharon, because I like trying to encourage her to sew, and she gets the sense of achievement when she finally makes something as well. But she does like to knit though. I've been trying to get my knitting done. That I don't know if any of you have seen my pictures I've been putting on Instagram. But I did try once, had my carpal tunnel done. I decided I would get back into knitting. I like something that I can sit and do while I'm watching TV. And this is laziness for you. It's quite a basic pattern really. It's just 3 rows of rib pattern and 2 rows of knit. And I thought, oh, that's fine, I don't need to write any of that down, I'll remember that. Because if I put the knitting down, go to bed, the next time I come to pick it up, I look at it and I cannot see where I was before. And I've been on the last 3 rows, I've been trying to get started again for about 3 nights. It's a nightmare. I'm just getting so frustrated. So I've got a bit of paper, and I've now written down clearly what each row is, and now I'll do it, and I will have to remember to tick it off. I really thought a basic pattern would be fine. I don't know if any of you ladies out there going through menopause had any experience of short-term memory loss. Honestly, it's a nightmare lately. I just keep forgetting things, and it's so frustrating. Duncan's 10 years younger than me, and he doesn't seem to, sometimes doesn't understand. And bless him, because he often helps Sharon, because she lives on her own. He's got 2 of us to deal with a lot of the time. So I expect we set him some challenges. Nearly finished this. Once I've done this will be the basic body put together. I feel quite happy with this one actually. In some ways I wish I'd made my other 3 in the same way. But no, it's come out okay. God, I can't believe how red my face looks. Let's tuck that away. There we go. It's one funny shaped angel. It's about the same width as my hips to my waist really. So now I just want to do what I said I would do, and put a couple of stitches in to give her knees. A couple of dimples to make knees. That's a couple of stitches. I've had, I think, well, I've got 3 lots of photographs on my computer where people have sent me pictures of things like paintings they've done and things they've made, and well, Sharon's actually one of them. She's got something that she's made recently, and I've got someone who's done paintings and someone else who's created things, so it's quite nice to have a variety. So what I want to do, probably won't be this video, but I will I'm going to put them off, you know, with their permission. I have had their permission. I'm going to put on what they've created, just so you can see some of our viewers are clever clogs. Okay, right, now look, let's decide where the knees are. And I think they're about there. So it's just see how this comes out. Straight, going straight, Jan, that's it. Let's do one more on this leg. I've moved the camera, now you can't see what I'm doing. I don't know. It's not very professional, is it? Let's do one more on this leg. Oh, see? Just move that up, and I think that's fairly knee-like. I'm not at the back of that one, so we'll take that and start that one again. You've all been very kind in your comments about my craft room as well. I was very happy to read that. I do like, most of you said how organised I was. I do like to be organised, because I just find if I'm not, I'm spending so much time looking for the things I need, I'm not getting any crafting done. So yeah, it just makes sense to me to be tidy. Then I know I've just got to look around, and that's the benefit as well of it being a small space. I really would love a room with more storage, so that, you know, I don't really know why, but I just feel like it'd be nice if it was in cupboards. But then, if it was in cupboards, I wouldn't be able to see it, would I? And then I'd have to go hunting for it. So, but I do like the benefit of it being small in the way that, like sitting here, I can reach my scissors and everything, and I can see at a glance what I need, and I've only got one step, and I can find things basically. So it does have its benefits. It's a little bit more because I haven't got any natural light. That's the challenge. So Duncan has tried putting in brighter lights for me and everything, and I do have this one light here it's like a daylight, so I have that if I need more light. I've got a light on the wall behind me, so he has tried, but what we need to do really is put a Velux in on this on the roof, so that I get some natural light in through there, because especially when I'm painting up here. Obviously natural light is much better for when you're painting. And also, big news is, talking to a friend of mine that I got to know through the art group that I was in. You've probably heard me mention before. I went to help her the other day with something on her computer, and not that I'm any computer expert, but it was something that she hadn't yet managed to sort out on her computer, so I went with Sharon to help her. And she's asked me if I'd come back to the art group, and I haven't been for a couple of years, since Duncan and I got married. And it's too much of a gossip to go into the reasons why, but yeah, I stopped going for a while. Well, obviously, what was that? It's about, so 2019 I stopped going, and I never had the desire to go back again, because the people I was avoiding at the art group were obviously still there, and but I've had a few people, other close friends of mine who I also got to know via the art group, who now tell me that these people aren't there. So they keep trying to encourage me to go back. So I've decided that maybe I will give it another go. So it'd be quite nice, I think. And Duncan's talking about coming with me. When we initially moved over, he did want to come with me because he didn't expect to be working as much as he does. And he needs that bit of relaxation, other than working on his little train set up here in the loft, which he hasn't touched for months now. He doesn't do anything. He's not one for going fishing or anything like that. And I think it'd be good for him if he can, because painting is so relaxing, so therapeutic. So it'd be good if he does come. We'll see. When I said I wasn't going, it's on a Monday, when I said I wasn't going today, he did say I was going to come with you, but he's at work as well. That's the thing with him, his work will get in the way sometimes. But I've told my friend that hopefully we'll make it next week, so fingers crossed he doesn't get into any work interference and he can come. I've only ever seen him doing art once, and when we were living next door before the gîte was our gîte, he did a watercolour, and it's quite nice to see him do it. So now it'd be nice to see what he decides to paint. Maybe a paint trains. Okay, so I've done her knees. Can you see them? There you go. So knees are ready. Now I've got to prepare the dress. I need to look at the dress on the old one to see how I did that. Now, did I? Oh no, that's okay, yep. Right, okay, so I've got to attach, haven't I? I've got to attach the bodice. What have I done with the bodice? I've lost the bodice, everybody. Oh, I know, because I didn't sew it properly, did I? Right, let's get all my other tools, put them away again. I shouldn't need those. Needles. See, tidy as you go, and then you won't get in such a mess. And the scissors, put them up. Okay, let's bring the machine round and I'll stitch this little bit. So yeah, now I've got to decide what I'm going to paint when I do go. I've got one of my grandchildren's portraits that I started. I should really take that. But I'm very tempted to take one of my tiny easels in the first week in case I decide I don't want to go anymore or something. I thought if I did one of my tiny easels, I'm more likely to get that finished in one session. So maybe I'll do that. I think it was Jermaine, one of the viewers, said to me I should take my little easels into the garden and paint one of the parts of the garden, which is a very good idea. Just unfortunately at the moment here it's a little bit cold, so I'm going to have to do something from a photograph, or do what I did intend on doing and painting the sheet, just make a tiny painting of the sheet, or our side of the cottage maybe. We'll see. Whatever it is, I will show you when I'm finished. I mean, they are that small that I could possibly do two in one session, but as I say, I haven't been for a long time, so I'll no doubt be catching up with everybody, and I'll probably spend most of the time talking. Which is not like me at all, is it? Right, so that's that restitched. Now I need to do the back, and I need to gather the top of this to bring it in to fit into that, which is about half. So I shall come back to you when I'm gathered. Right, I've now gathered the skirt to fit the bodice and I've clipped that on, but what I've got to do now is gather the bodice and the skirt at the same time to fit onto this tiny little waist. Well, her chest, just under the armpit. So it's got to come down quite a lot. So it does make it very, I mean, sometimes I wish I'd just made it smaller, but I like the fullness of the skirt. So I'm now going to stitch that to gather it more. Okay, there. I've gathered both the bodice and the top together. And I'm not going to get that on my sewing machine, so I'm going to have to hand stitch that together. Okay, I've got that far. Obviously I now need to put the veil over the top, do the hair and the face and everything, and put a bracelet on, do her shoes. But I'm going to do that another day because it's getting late. I've seemed to be doing this all day, and I shall add it onto this later. Hi again. It's day 2. Yes, I'm wearing the same top, but I haven't been anywhere. So now I'm carrying on with making my little Christmas angel. I'll show you now that I've now started to sew the little silk flowers onto the veil. So I'm going to move the camera around so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. So I'm on the machine. It's quite a fiddly little job. Right, here we go. In fact, I think I might put you on time lapse because it's going to take a little time to do. Right, as you can see, I've now sewn all the silk flowers on the veil, which is now the outside of the dress. I gathered the top of the veil to go around the top of the dress, and as I picked it up all my stitching came out, so I've just had to sit and redo that. I won't be in a hurry to do something like this again, believe me. It's very fiddly, very frustrating, but I know in the end it's going to be good. So now I'm going to stitch again to make sure it all stays in place around the top, and I will come back to you when I've done that. There we go. Just tip it back a bit. Right, there you can see. Right, now I shall put her on the dress on the doll. There you go. Is that the right way around? Yeah. Just make sure my tidy stitch knees are at the front. There we go. Now I'm going to start adding the beads and everything, but I've also got to make some little booties. See how I've stitched that on there. Okay, be back soon. But what I've done now, I've cut the wool to just a length basically. I'm not sure what I'm doing with the hair, but I've cut it there, and I'm going to now stitch it to the back of the head, and then maybe back and then over. I'm not sure. I've got to, but it sort of takes shape as I go along. Once I've done that, at least got it stitched on, I'll show you what I'm doing next. There you go. So she's got a necklace now, she's got her bracelets, and I've given her some pigtails, given her some hair. What I did was I put double-sided tape up the back, stuck all the wool on there, and then I stitched over and over and over again, just hold it in place. and then put these little ribbons on. Some of the hair needs tightening up a bit because it's kind of a little bit baggy at the back, but I'll do that later. Now I've just got to give her a little couple of eyes and some rosy cheeks. Eyes. And I think I'll have to look for the pastel to make her rosy cheeks. There we go. As far as I'm concerned now, I think she's finished. I've redone the hair a little bit because I wasn't happy with that. And what I did, rather than make ballerina shoes, I've given her a couple of nice little lacy bits on her feet, which gives a suggestion of little ankle socks. So there we go. There she is, finished. You see, I've done what I used as like a permanent pen for the eyes, and for the cheeks like pastel chalks, pink. Just rub that in to make her cheeks. You don't really, you know, on the ones that are in the book, she didn't have a mouth or anything, but I'm quite happy with that. I have actually got some wings, but I'm not sure if I'm going to put them on. I'll just show them to you. I'll get the packet open. I bought these in a little shop here that we buy lots of cheap things in. Let's just cut that tag off. And as you can see, they're just cardboard with feathers on. And I can't decide whether to put them on or not. What do you think? So just fix on the back. Actually, looking at it now, I do quite like it. Maybe I will fix them on, because she's not likely to be going in the wash or anything, so I think that looks quite pretty. So I'm going to find a way to fix them on, and then I'll show you the final finish. There we go. It was a bit of a challenge, but the wings are on. And there she is, finished. There we go. All finished. As you can see, they're all very different. All got their own personalities, shall we say. I'm glad to finally get them done. They've all got the wings. That was a challenge, putting those on. I had to do some stitching through, because they're actually, it's like feathers on card. So I had to stitch through card, but got there in the end. So my plan is now just to make them all a little drawstring bag for them to be stored in every year. And I might name them all. I think if I can think of 4 names that include the word angel, I'm going to give them all names. So far I've only come up with Angelica, Angela, can't think of another ones, but yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, wasn't what I would call a tutorial, and I'm a bit wary of doing tutorials, because I know a lot of you out there are quite good at sewing from what I can gather, but if you took it as a tutorial and you have learnt something and want to make them, then that's fantastic. But otherwise, yep, so I've enjoyed doing them, as stressful as some of them be. When you do little bits and pieces like that with lace and feathers and tiny little things. It can be quite a challenge to stitch together, and obviously dealing with a veil like I was, trying to get the little satin flowers on was a challenge, and very delicate because I don't want to rip the veil. But as I say, I hope you enjoyed that, and I shall see you in the next video. Any questions about any of this, obviously please put them in the comments below, and see you next time. Bye.